Hello bookworms! Today we're going to be doing another news and stuff video and we've got a lot to cover. So as a new addition to news, I'm going to continue on and I'm going to spoil some book boxes right in the beginning here. So if you don't want to hear what the books are going to be, if you want to be surprised, then you're going to want to skip over to the next section, which is special editions. And again, just as a disclaimer, these are 99% sure what the books are going to be. They're obviously guesses. There's always a chance that I'm incorrect, but if you read the descriptions that are put out by the companies and then the descriptions of these books, they do seem to match very closely. So there's always a chance that it's not correct, but it does seem pretty certain. So here we go. So first up, the October Owl Crate YA book of the month is going to be This Dark Descent by Kaylin Josephson. Moving on to the October Owl Crate adult book of the month. This one is going to be Starling House by Alex E. Harrow. And as we talked about in the last video, this is also going to be the November book for Illumicrate. Then for the November YA Fairy Loot book, it's going to be The Scarlet Alchemist by Kylie Lee Baker. This one sounds really good. I'm very excited that this is one of the picks. And for the November adult Fairy Loot book, we are getting Swordcatcher by Cassandra Clare. Then for the Evernight quarterly subscription, which is the horror subscription offered by Illumicrate, they will be doing Last to Leave the Room by Caitlin Starling. And then this one is super far in advance, but Illumicrate revealed the cover and announced that their February 2024 book will be To Cage a God by Elizabeth May. This is no surprise since Daphne Press is the one that acquired this title and is publishing it, so obviously Illumicrate would want to include it in their box. And now moving on to special editions. So first I just wanted to give an update on The Will of the Many by The Broken Binding. As we talked about in the last video, I was less than impressed with their redesigned cover, but thankfully The Broken Binding did listen to all of the customer feedback. It seems like I was not the only one who feels that way, judging by my comment section and assuming that they also received feedback from customers too on social media. They have announced that their edition of the book will now have a reversible dust jacket, and the dust jacket will be the original cover. However, it is like a deep red colorway. It's actually super beautiful, and I'm so excited that they decided to make this change. I know I actually picked up a copy this morning as part of the tier 2 pre-sale, so it should go on general sale tomorrow. I do hope that it will still be in stock on Monday when this video goes live, but I just wanted to give you guys a little update on that. Next, Fairy Loot announced that they're going to be doing what they're calling Iron Editions. So Iron Editions will be reprints of editions that they've already done in the past. They won't be exact replicas, they will be new designs. They might be similar, but they will have some new elements maybe that weren't available at the time that they originally did them. They did release a teaser for the first series that they will be doing, and it is definitely Red Rising. So excited. I cannot wait to get those. I am curious how they will compare to the new editions that are being released of Iron Gold and Dark Age, because I obviously do hope that the set matches. Maybe there are some elements to those that they haven't yet revealed to us. Maybe it's like a extra dust jacket or something, but I don't know. That's just, speculation. But I'm really excited that they're going to be doing these. They did say that they are going to be extremely limited, so they're really only going to announce like 1 to 2 Iron editions per year, and they are not going to be redoing every book that they've ever done. It's going to be like few and far between. Then I just wanted to fill you in case you hadn't heard, but there was a little bit of drama concerning Fairy Loot's upcoming Romantasy subscription. They announced it quite a while ago and released a link so that you can join a waitlist in order to join the subscription if you were interested. I joined it right away, but they were talking about it more in this week of reveals that they did, and they announced that current subscribers were going to get priority access for the subscription, and obviously people were really upset because they thought that they had joined this waitlist and that they would get priority access by doing that. So then Fairy Loot announced that they would be doing a combined priority, so it would be current subscribers as well as people on the waitlist, like a mix of them would get priority access to subscribe. In a third post, they finally said, never mind, this is the last time that we're changing it, but priority is going to go to the people who've been on the wait list. So I wasn't really cognizant of everything that was going on there, but they must have gotten a lot of complaints from people who joined the wait list and expected to be able to subscribe as soon as it was offered. So all that to say, You might want to get on there if you're interested. Next, there is a Waterstones special edition of Yumi and the Nightmare Painter by Brandon Sanderson, and it is absolutely gorgeous. I really love this cover, and on the sprayed pages, they are like this beautiful shade of light blue, and they've got roses and florals. It's just amazing. There is also a deluxe Hunger Games collection by Suzanne Collins that's being released within the UK, and it does include The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. I think that the set is really pretty. However, I think that it's a little bit too cheery for the Hunger Games. I think like the colors are just a little bit too like bright and vibrant. When I think of Hunger Games, I definitely think of like darker themes, darker tones. Very pretty, but I think it kind of misses the mark on the feel of the series. Then I'm so excited about this. It has finally been confirmed that Orbit is going to be releasing special editions of books 2 and 3 in the Expanse series by James S.A. Corey. So we got that super beautiful edition of Leviathan Wakes. That's like the neon pink with the neon pink pages and neon pink metallic foiling under the dust jacket. And then it was just like radio silence and we didn't hear anything else for a couple of years. But there are Amazon listings that popped up for the next 2 books in the series, which are Caliban's War and Abaddon's Gate. And there are no images yet for these designs, but now we do know that they're coming, and they're actually going to be releasing on December 12th. I, for one, cannot wait to see these in all of their neon glory. The title text on Leviathan Wakes is a bright pink, and the first edition was a bright neon pink. So I am expecting that Caliban's War could be like a highlighter yellow, and Abaddon's Gate could be a really pretty like super neon green. Next, there is a very cool edition of the Sandman series by Neil Gaiman that is up for pre-order. It's very expensive, but it does include a replica of Sandman's helm. It's called the Sandman Morpheus Helm Masterpiece Edition, and in addition to this replica of Sandman's helm, it also includes the entire Sandman series in 6 leather-bound volumes, and each of them has a foil embossed hardcover, and man, am I tempted to get this. It's just so crazy expensive, and I don't know where I would put the helm, but I really want it just for those like editions. Then the Bookish Box announced that they will be doing a limited reprint of their edition of Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros. There will be a limited pre-order for this one, and it will be unsigned. There's also a Barnes & Noble exclusive edition of Circe by Madeline Miller that has surfaced on their website. It's quite pretty. It's just like a basic black, but then it has bright orange pages that match the title text and the icon on the cover. Then Fairy Loot announced that they will be doing an edition of Cinderella is Dead by Kaylin Barron, and I think the cover art on this one is amazing. I also really love the butterfly clips in her hair. It's so cool how the artist was able to make them actually look like glass, and then it also has really lovely blue sprayed pages. There's also a Barnes & Noble exclusive edition of The Invocations by Crystal Sutherland. This one has like light pink metallic sprayed pages, which are really beautiful, but I was 100% sold when I found out that there is a bonus House of Hollow chapter in this book. And there will also be a Barnes & Noble exclusive edition of Volume 6 of Lore Olympus by Rachel Smythe. I absolutely love this one because not only do we have Hades and Persephone on the cover, who are just amazing, but it is also in a library. They're just surrounded by books, and it is so magical. Next, it was announced that there will finally be some new Puffin and Bloom editions. I don't know if you guys remember those, but they did really pretty editions of, it was like Anne of Green Gables, Secret Garden, Heidi, and a couple more books. It was a beautiful set of them. I feel like they were really popular on BookTube like 8 years ago. Puffin and Bloom is finally releasing a couple more, so this time they are tackling Jane Austen. There's going to be editions for Pride and Prejudice, Sense and Sensibility, and Emma. These are coming in February 2024, and they are super beautiful. Then Owl Crate announced their exclusive edition of Swordcatcher by Cassandra Clare. I really like their edition. It's very pretty. It's very like deep red, and it's actually the same artist that did their Grisha books. Then Afterlight announced an edition of Check and Mate by Ali Hazelwood. This is Ali Hazelwood's new YA rom-com that's coming out in November. The Afterlight edition is super cute. It has lots of chess pieces on the pages, and I also really like the colorway that they chose for this one. Then the Bookish Box announced an exclusive luxe edition of The Endless War by Danielle L. Jensen, and in conjunction with this new book that they will be releasing, they also announced a limited reprint of the Bridge Kingdom series. So I think that they will be offering all of the books as a set, as well as The Endless War as an individual pre-order. Then LitJoy Crate released a glimpse at some of the tip and art that we can expect in their Shadow and Bone books, and in a surprise to no one, the art for Siege and Storm is definitely my favorite. So good. There's also a Barnes & Noble exclusive edition of the Inheritance games by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. I think that their edition is really nice. It keeps the original cover, but then it has really pretty sprayed pages, and I think that this is a really great alternative for anyone who might have missed out on the Fairy Loot editions of these books. Then a new company that I actually hadn't heard of before, it's called Books for Days Crate. They're going to be doing special editions of the Luck series by Jennifer L. Armentrout, and I was like, finally, I feel like no one has done this series, and it was so popular like back in the day. It's such a fun YA paranormal alien romance series, and I'm really excited to see these getting the special edition treatment. We got to see what Obsidian and Onyx will look like, and I really like the pastel rainbow sprayed pages. Then there is a 10th anniversary collector's edition of Fangirl by Rainbow Rowell that's being released. This one will have stained pages and exclusive content. We haven't actually seen like a mock-up of the full book yet, but we do have a cover for it. I will say it is rather pricey though. Like I looked it up on Blackwell's, and to get it from there to ship to the United States, it's $44, which is a lot for a single book. Then Illumicrate announced a special edition of A Power Unbound by Freya Marks. This is the final installment in the Last Binding trilogy, and it will match the rest of the series that they have released thus far. Then we already knew that this was coming after the disaster of the initial release, but Fairy Loot announced officially their reprint edition of The Shadow Cabinet by Juno Dawson. I can confirm that this one is gorgeous in person. Then Fairy Loot is doing an exclusive edition of An Echo in a City by KX Song. I've actually never heard of this book, probably because it is a YA contemporary, but I do really like the naked hardcover on this one. Moving on to our next section of the video, which is cover reveals. Okay, so I think that this is probably my favorite cover reveal of this video, but unfortunately it's in a genre that I don't read very often, and that is YA contemporary. However, I'm definitely going to be making an exception for this one, and that is Dungeons and Drama by Christy Boyce. I think that this is like the most perfect cover in the world, and I need to read this immediately. My friend Alexa actually said that it reminds her of me and Andrew, and now I like love it even more, even though I don't have blonde hair anymore. This one comes out on January 9th. Then Simon Teen is releasing a new box set of Tamora Pierce's Song of the Lioness Quartet. They are simultaneously being released in both hardcover and paperback, and I really, really like the new covers. They're so pretty. The one thing that I will say though is that the artwork seems very much like something out of manga to me. It doesn't really seem like Tamora Pierce's like old school fantasy. I love them. I just don't know that it's like the vibe for the series, but they are so pretty. Then we got a cover for Hollow by Karina Hall, and I cannot wait to read this book. This is a standalone gothic romance, dark academia retelling of The Legend of Sleepy Hollow. I am just obsessed with this gorgeous cover, and thankfully we don't have to wait long. This one's coming out on September 28th, and it is actually the first book in the Gothic Shade of Romance series, and I did just say that it was a standalone, and that's because this series is an anthology series consisting of standalones based on classic horror and gothic novels. Then we got the original cover for Lore Olympus Volume 6 by Rachel Smythe. So I had just shown the Barnes & Noble version, but this is the standard version that will be available in stores, and I, for one, am so glad to finally see Hecate on a cover. This one's going to be coming out on May 7th. Then we got a cover for 12th Night by Alexine Farrell Fometh, and this is actually Olivia Blake. I believe Olivia Blake is a pen name, and this might be her actual name. So this is a YA rom-com that is being released. It is a coming-of-age story about learning to take up space in the world and finding out what it means to let others in, and this one is coming out in June of 2024. Then we got the cover for Remedial Magic by Melissa Marr. I really, really love this cover, and I also really, really love this synopsis. This one is about an unassuming librarian who has fallen in love with a powerful witch, then finds out that she is a witch, and then must attend a community college in order to find out how to save the world from destruction. This one is coming February 27th of 2024. Then we got a cover for The Undermining of Twyla and Frank by Megan Bannon. So this is set in the same world as The Undertaking of Heart and Mercy, and it is a new romance involving dragons, and this one's coming in summer of 2024. I'm so excited. This one I just love the cover. I think it looks so good. Then we finally got the covers and release dates for the last 2 books that we were missing in the Mighty Nine Origins comic series. So we got the covers for Beauregard Lionheart and Caduceus Clay, and we found out that these ones will be coming out in spring of 2024. I feel like I've been waiting for Caduceus' story forever and have no doubt that this one is going to have the most beautiful artwork. Then we got a cover for Business Casual by B.K. Borison. This is the 4th and final book in the Lovelight Farm series, and we are following Charlie and Nova, and this one's coming out in June of 2024. I really like this final cover. I'm really sad to see the series ending. It is so much fun, so cute. Love this adorable small town romance. Then we got a cover for This Summer Will Be Different by Carly Fortune. I think Carly gets some of the best summery romance covers like ever. This is another one that is really beautiful, and this one's coming out on May 7th. Then we got a cover for Finlay Donovan Rolls the Dice by El Cosimano. This is the 4th book in the Finlay Donovan series, and these have typically been released in January, but this one is coming out a little later. This one's going to be released on March 5th. The cover is really fun, but it's definitely a bit brighter and more, I don't know, it gives like a happier vibe than the rest of the series. Then we got a cover for The Sky on Fire by Jen Lyons. This is a new standalone fantasy that is being marketed as perfect for fans of the Dragon Riders of Pern series, but for a modern audience. And this one's coming out in July of 2024. Then we got a cover for Spookily Yours by Jennifer Chipman, and this is probably just one of the cutest covers that I have ever seen, so I just had to include it because it's irresistible. This is a spicy Halloween romance novella. It's about a witch and a shape-shifting demon, and it is coming out on October 13th, so right in time for Halloween, and also fitting that it's coming out on Friday the 13th. Then we got a cover for Phantom Pond by Juno Black. This is a novella set in the world of the Shady Hollow series. It's listed as book 4.5, and this one is coming out on September 26th, so again, just in time for Halloween season. Then Daphne Press revealed their cover of Heart of the Shadow King by Sylvia Mercedes. This is the 3rd book and the conclusion to the Bride of the Shadow King trilogy. It's coming first digitally in the UK on October 26th, and then the paperback will follow on January 9th. And once that releases, I would really love to see Illumicrate do a special edition of the series, which I wouldn't be surprised if they do. Then we got a cover for The Lovely Dark by Emma Hamm, Juliet Cross, and Zoe Draven, and this is a monster romance anthology, and each author has written a novella set within their own fantasy worlds. The ebook for this one releases on April 23rd, and there will be hardcover copies available at a Polycon. Then we got a cover for Lost to Dune Road by Kara Thomas. This is Kara Thomas's 2nd adult thriller novel. It follows a disgraced reporter unraveling a conspiracy of murder, and this one's coming on April 16th. Then we got a cover for Ankle Snatcher by Grady Hendrix. So in the last video, I had mentioned Joe Hill's new novella, The Pram, and this is actually part of the same collection on Amazon. It's short fiction. It's called the Creature Feature Collection, and both come out really soon in September. The date is escaping me. I forgot to write it down. Then we got a cover for Some Quiet Place by Kelsey Sutton. If you know the Fortuna series by KJ Sutton, Kelsey Sutton is her actual name. I believe KJ Sutton is a pen name. So first novel, her debut novel, has been out of print for a really long time, and she finally got the rights back and she decided to republish it as an indie. She's also made it a little bit more spicy, and she's now saying that it would be like an upper YA kind of novel, and this one's coming out November 14th. Then we got a cover for Daughter of Mine by Megan Miranda. This is her next thriller novel coming on April 9th. This one is following a girl who returns to her childhood home and uncovers some evidence that might help her figure out the mystery of her mother's disappearance. Then we got a cover for Find Him Where You Left Him Dead by Kristen Simmons. This one sounds really cool. I believe it is a YA novel, but it's a YA horror that is inspired by Jumanji, but like more horrific and Japanese. This one's coming September 26th. Then we got a cover for How to Make a Horror Movie and Survive by Craig DeLuey. This is a darkly humorous horror novel that sees a famous 80s slasher director set out to film the most terrifying horror film ever made while using an occult camera that is probably demonic. There's no release date yet for this one, but it sounds like a lot of fun. And finally, we got a cover for The Living Force by John Jackson Miller, which is a new Star Wars novel. This is John Jackson Miller's triumphant return to the Star Wars World. That was like a tongue twister. This is his newest. It takes place a year before The Phantom Menace, and it follows Yoda and Mace Windu and the entire Jedi Council as they confront a galaxy on the brink of change. Moving on to general book news. First, we got the title for Ali Hazelwood's next adult romance novel. This one is entitled Not in Love, and it is once again another science-focused romance, and this one's going to be coming in June of 2024. Then we got the title reveal for Alexandra Bracken's next book and the concluding book to the Silver and the Bone duology. This one will be called The Mirror of Beasts, and it'll be coming out on May 28th of 2024. I'm really excited to see the cover reveal of this one because I love the cover of Silver and the Bone. Then Audible announced that they're going to be releasing an exclusive audio-only story set within the world of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. It's called Slayers, a Buffyverse story, and it is actually written by cast member Amber Benson along with Christopher Golden. It follows Spike 10 years after the last episode of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and it's the first time in 20 years that the original cast of Buffy the Vampire Slayer will be reuniting to narrate this audiobook, which just sounds so cool. Very excited to hear Giles's voice again. And this one is releasing on October 12th. Then Jennifer Lynn Barnes announced The Grandest Game, which is releasing in July of 2024. This is the 5th book in the Inheritance Games series. So the Inheritance Games is really like a trilogy, like that is your completed, finalized story, but then she released The Brothers Hawthorne, which is like somewhat of a spin-off, and now I believe that this is a direct sequel to that one. We also got an end paper sneak peek of What Feasts the Night by T. Kingfisher. I really love these end papers. They're so pretty. The moths are so creepy, and I love that it like depicts the saying like moths to a flame. The candle is like appropriately spooky. I love it. Then Tor announced that they are releasing a revised and updated version of another Martha Wells book. This one's entitled The Book of Ilrian, and it contains the author's preferred editions of The Element of Fire and The Death of the Necromancer. And this one's coming on February 27th. Then a Bachelorette star and Dancing with the Stars winner, Hannah Brown, has just signed a 2-book deal with Forever Romance. Her first novel, Mistakes We Never Made, is releasing on May 7th. I've never watched either show, so I'm not familiar with her, and I really don't have any insight into anything, but that is pretty interesting. And then moving into our final category, which is adaptations, and I once again just want to make everyone aware that the strike between SAG and WGA and the executives is still ongoing, and again, just really hoping that that gets resolved soon. So first it was announced that Arcane Season 2 is going to be coming to Netflix in winter of 2024. Andrew and I really need to watch that show. Everyone like raves about it, and I think that we're gonna love it, but we just haven't gotten around to it yet. Netflix also announced that they will be doing a season 2 of One Piece. Once the strike is settled, it sounds like things will be able to get moving pretty quickly. The scripts for the show have already been written, and they think that once the strike ends, they will be able to like film and release the series within 12 months of the strike ending. Then we got a first look at Studio Ghibli's next film, The Boy and the Heron. We got a little teaser trailer, which was also interesting that it was released here because it was actually released in Japan without any marketing whatsoever, like no teasers, no trailers, no posters, nada. Hayao Miyazaki really doesn't need any marketing at this point. This one releases in theaters on December 8th. Then we got a season 2 trailer for Our Flag Means Death, and I'm so excited for this show to come back. I'm like counting down the days until October 5th. It definitely looks like Blackbeard is in a bit of a dark place at the beginning of this season, and I'm really excited to see how things are going to play out. Next, Lucasfilm confirmed that Donald Glover's Lando project has now been converted into a film. I think it was originally supposed to be a TV series, but now they've confirmed that it will be a film. There's absolutely no release date or anything yet. It's still super early stages, but exciting news nonetheless. We also got a teaser for Disney's new Goosebumps adaptation. The first 5 episodes of the show will be dropping on Friday the 13th, and then we will get 1 episode per week for the next 5 weeks after for the last 5 episodes of the show. The series pulls from a big selection of Goosebumps books, but the ones that it does seem to focus on are Say Cheese and Die, The Haunted Mask, Night of the Living Dummy, The Cuckoo Clock of Doom, and Go Eat Worms. Then on Star Trek Day, there was a focus on celebrating everything animated because it was the 50th anniversary of Star Trek the Animated Series. So as a result, they announced Star Trek Very Short Treks, which are very short animated little clips of Star Trek just throughout the ages. All different characters are involved. There have been 2 that have been released so far, and we've got 3 more on the way. And then lastly, OP Games is releasing a new Dune version of Monopoly. This was bound to happen. It seems like everything in existence has a version of Monopoly, so now you can play a Dune version, which is probably pretty similar to the base game, except that there are politics and spice. So that is everything that I have to talk about today in this news video. Hope that you guys enjoyed. Once again, it was like chock full of facts, and I'm gonna have a lot of images to pull tomorrow. But that's it that I have for this video, and I will see you guys soon in a new one. Bye!